Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another film review. Tonight we're looking at a bit of a Monty Python kind of film. We are looking at the new release of The Odd Job, starring Graham Chapman of the Monty Python team and David Jason of Don't Adjust Your TV Set team. But before we get into it, let's have a look at the release. So this is the physical release of Job, starring Graham Chapman and David Jason. Recently purchased this from HMV, as you just saw. Released on the Severin label. Let's move that out of the way. So here it is in all its glory. Certification 15. And it has the disc inside. And it has absolutely nothing else inside. So that is the physical release of The Odd Job. Extremely bog standard release from Severin. No sort of booklet, art cards, poster or reversible cover, nothing. But there we go. It is what it is. But is there any special features? So this is the main screen for The Odd Job. And let's have a look at any special features we might have on the disc. An introduction by Peter Medic. Audio interview with Peter Medic. Peter Medic is the director. The Odd Job Men. Zoom reunion between stars Sir David Jason and Peter Medic. The Unusual Work. Interview with writer Bernard McKenna. Producer and Odd Job. Interview with co-producer Mark Forstater. The Odd Batch. Interview with actor Richard O'Brien. Naughty Neighbour. Interview with actress Caroline Seymour. The Most Peculiar Craft. An interview with actor Simon Williams. And that is the special features on The Odd Job. So there's a bit of a wealth of extra features on there, some interviews with some of the cast members and the director himself. Peter Reddor, let's have a look at his name. Oh, put your glasses on, Joe. Peter Medak is the director. And there's some interviews with him and some stuff with him with like a audio commentary. And it's really, really interesting to have all that special features on there. So let's have a look at the story. So this is a British 1978 comedy film about Arthur Harris, played by Graham Chapman. And the film starts with him, as we see him walking around London smoking his pipe. And he goes home to his wife Fiona Harris, played by the beautiful Diana Quick. And as soon as he gets there, he's bought her a bonsai plant for their anniversary. And she tells him she's leaving him. She's had enough. She doesn't love him anymore. So he tries his best to try and stop this from happening. And he's arguing with her in a very comical kind of way. But she carries on and she decides to leave him. And when she leaves, he's absolutely distraught by it all. And she goes off to Arthur's best friend, Tony Sloan, played by Simon Williams. And she goes off to him and sort of crying in his arms. And he's a bit of a perv. He sort of fancies her. But she has absolutely no interest in him at all. And so the film sort of carries on that, and we meet some very interesting sort of characters in the film. We meet their sort of landlord or caretaker, played by George Innes. He's really, really cool and really funny in the film. and there's some other sort of funny characters we meet later in the film. We meet this gangster called Raymond, played by Michael Affleck, who's absolutely fantastic. Anyway, back to Arthur. So Arthur's had enough, and he's going to try and kill himself. First of all, he tries all these strange sort of things, but it's very, very, very unsuccessful. And then he gets a knock on his door, and it's from an odd job man played by David Jason. And he's gone there to ask him if he's got any odd jobs that he needs doing. And and this sort of thing. And he goes, yes, I would like you to turn on the light switch. He's rigged up this plastic chair with electrical wires from the light switch, hoping to electrocute himself, and gives the odd job man some money to do it. And the odd job man sort of realizes what he's doing and says to him, well, look, there's much better ways to do it. If I, because we're not going to be able to do it here. So if I do it unexpectedly, I'll try and sort of like unexpectedly and sort of like kill you in the middle of nowhere. So he pays him like £500 to do this. And then Arthur meets Angie, who's his neighbour, played by Caroline Seymour. And she fancies him, and she sort of like tries to get it on with him. And while this is going on, his best friend, Simon, the perv, I call him, because he acts like a perv. It's not Simon, Tony. He's still trying it on with his wife. And all this is doing is making his wife, Fiona, realise how much she really likes him. And we get into these sort of situations where he's walking through Regent's Park and he gets whacked on the back of the head with a shovel by the odd job man who's dug a grave for him. And this odd job man is useless. He ends up killing other people on the way. He kills like this guy that's walking in the park. He kills the caretaker. He kills Tony along the line, but he kills everyone apart from who he's supposed to. He's absolutely useless. And then the police get involved. We've got Inspector Black, played by Edward Hardwick, who's really, really funny. And we have Sergeant Mole, played by Bill Patterson, if I remember right. And they get involved and realise that someone's trying to kill him. And all these sort of wacky things are going off and about. And it's really unsuccessful. And eventually, Fiona comes back to Arthur and they sort of reconcile. And she has to tell him that she hired this guy to try and kill him because he was so broken-hearted. So the rest of the film is like a sort of slapstick, sort of satire sort of film where they're trying to get away from this odd job man. And finally, they sort of like, they want to get hold of him to say they don't want him to do it anymore because the odd job man, who's played by David Jason, still thinks that they want to kill, that he doesn't know, so he's only doing what he's being paid to do, and that's how the film goes off. So let's have a little look at the characters. Graham Chapman as Arthur is hysterical. He's so cool. He walks around with a little pipe and he's so English, it's unbelievable. He's just really, really cool. It's so Monty Python, so Bonzo Dog Doodah Band, kind of like Vivian Stanshall looking. He's got that sort of image about him, and he's wonderful. David Jason as the odd job man is fantastic, and he plays David Jason. He's like a scruffy Granville, and he plays it really, really well. And he's quite convincing as this sort of like clumsy odd job man. Fiona, played by Diana Quick, is marvellous. She's really, really cool. I really like her in this film. She's really, really sweet, and she's sort of like quite understanding to Arthur when she gets back with him, because he's acting really bizarre and stuff like this, and sneaking around corners because he thinks he's going to be killed around every corner. And the two police officers are absolutely bumbling fools as well. They're really, really cool. Great. In fact, the whole cast is wonderful. So let's get on to the final verdict. I'm going to score this an amazing watch and give it a 9 out of 10. I enjoyed it so much from start to finish. It was so quirky, it was so bizarre and weird, but so wonderful at the same time. Quite a simplistic little story. He's hired this guy to kill him when he doesn't know it, and then his wife comes back and he's changed his mind, and then it's a whole caper takes off from them, and it's absolutely wonderful. It does have a lot of sort of Monty Python humour in it, but it has some slapstick humour in it too, almost to sort of carry on sort of point. You know, it does play like that a little bit, but this is the humour of the time, the 1978, this sort of period when we had all these sort of wonderful films. It also reminds me of The Goodies in a lot of way. Because of that sort of time period and the humour, and so things around that time were that humour, and they would carry through to the 80s with John Cleese in his film Clockwise, which is another film I will bring to my channel at some point. It's that sort of humour that I love, and through the years it's all gone on to, like Rowan Atkinson did it with Mr. Bean and stuff like that. It's got that kind of clumsy humour behind it that they're sort of like missing it all, and it's wonderfully shot. It's so wonderfully shot, and to see some great scenes of London, and my favourite scene is definitely the ending where they end up in London Zoo, one of my favourite places in the whole world, and I see them and they go to the Moonlight Well, which is downstairs in sort of Monkey area, and it made my heart really warm thinking I've been down there. I've been to these locations where there's film shot, and it just made me feel so warm seeing all these wonderful locations, and it just brought that extra joy to me and made me fall in love with the film a little bit more. I know it's come out to a few mixed reviews, but I absolutely loved it, and I do highly recommend it if you like your humour a little bit quirky, a little bit silly, and just a little bit giggly. It's not a laugh out loud film, it's more of a sort of sort of humour, sort of giggle sort of humour, but I loved it. It's a very warm film and I really enjoyed it. So thank you so much guys for coming into this review. Stick around for some more reviews. Until next time, look after yourselves. Oh, a massive shout out to my lad. Look after yourselves, look after one another, and I really hope I see you all soon.